Good evening, everyone. I am Kiran Khatri, professor at LJU, along with Ms. Falguni Rawat, first year student at LJU. LJ has illustrious alumni base, and alumni are significant part of the LJ family. As a member of LJ family, it gives me tremendous joy and pride at the moment to begin the event Alumni Mantras, which is online series based on interaction between the students of LJ and the esteemed alumni of LJ MBA. Today, we are here to listen and learn from our distinguished alumnus about the success mantras that he has adopted in his life and career. Our speaker has an experience of more than a decade in a number of companies like J Corp, Megaplast India Private Limited, and Tata Consultancy Services. He started his career as accounts assistant, and within a span of short duration, he was promoted to the position of senior accountant. When he left his job in 2019 to start his own business, he was at the peak of his career as a project leader in Tata Consultancy Services. So let us all welcome Mr. Hardik Joshi, the founder of Honeyveda. Ms. Falguni will be asking some questions to Mr. Joshi. So over to you, Falguni.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for welcoming us. So firstly, I would like to thank all my faculty members and Kiran ma'am for giving me this opportunity for conducting this interview with such motivating personality. I would also like to heartily welcome you, sir, our alumni guest for the day, Mr. Hardik Joshi, the founder of Honeyveda and an esteemed alumni of LJ. So we are really grateful for having you in this meeting.
Well, thank you very much, and I thank this LJ community uh, to giving me this opportunity, and feels great to be in the same place that I used to be in 2008 to 10. So it always feels good to be part of LJ. I have always been part of LJ, and even after I left my academic period, the team, the professors, everyone has helped me even till today. Siddharth sir, other faculty members, they are helping like the team member. I mean, they are. You would be surprised. They are also part of Honeyveda journey by being mentor to my startup. So it's amazing that even till today they are letting us be part of the LJ community.
Okay, so that's definitely true. And so firstly, starting with my question, firstly, I would like to ask you that can you brief our audience about your career journey, like how you started after LJ and how did Honeyveda came into business?
All right. So I completed my academics in LJ in 2010, and then when I left, I had this very strong urge to understand accounting and finance in very detail, and something which is happening out of the books. So academic books, I mean. So I choose a career which was actually not something based on MBA. Hello.
Yes, sir,
Yes.
you are audible.
Okay, I just lost the screen, so I thought. Anyways, sorry. So I joined Jacob as an account assistant, and my purpose of joining is to get really good idea of how accounting, finance, and closure of books are happening in limited public limited companies. That was my very prime objective to join Jacob, and it was amazing journey from Jacob to last I was working with Megaplast in the same domain, accounting and finance. And when I left the career, I was at very good stage in terms of accounting finance, was having good knowledge of compliances and excises and direct and indirect taxes and all. So it was great journey. And then I because of my family I was working in Daman and Silvassa. My family wanted, why don't you work near to your home? So I came Ahmedabad for that reason. And when I left Megaplast, I was very certain that I wish to join either IT industry or pharma industry. I was very certain about it because of my previous experience. And I started looking for job, and I gave this interview in TCS, and I got this job. So for few initial years with TCS, I was handling 52 funds for a US client. It was an amazing culture and work profile. I was leading third-party asset management team. And after 3 years, I was shifted to the government project. I mean, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation was our client, and now the property tax and solid waste management, all the modules that you can see in Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation today is actually developed by our team. So I feel proud about it. And it was the time in 2015 that we used to get this weekend off. Now, my earlier years with manufacturing industry in Daman and Silvassa, we used to work very hard, like sometimes 14 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours a day. So I was programmed in certain way over there. But when I joined TCS, then I started getting 2 days off. So suddenly, after some time, I realized why not to start or do something during this weekend off. And we started looking for certain options that what should I do. And when I actually introspect, I realized that agriculture is something is always near to me for some reason. So I started looking for options, and this beekeeping came across out of some friendly discussions. And then I started looking for concept over internet. I also went and met some beekeepers who are actually active into the industry. And I really gave 6 months understanding what beekeeping is and what this industry is all about. And frankly speaking, the very basic reason I started and picked up beekeeping out of many options was that it was possible because of less capital investment required for beekeeping. And I thought, okay, fine, this is okay for my salary, and I can at least start it. So once I started beekeeping, frankly speaking, I was not aware of the social and environmental impact that this industry has. So gradually, I started to understand honeybees. Of course, by academic, I am not into etymologies. I am not aware of insects from their biology or something, but it was because the life of honeybees, once you get into it, once you understand, it thrilled me. Even after 5 years, there are many facts of honeybees which actually excites me. So I took the lead. I realized, okay, fine, the product that we had. So we went to X crops, and then we harvest X honey. Then we went to Y farms and crops, and then we harvest Y honey. And then I realized, okay, fine, X and Y is completely different honey. This concept was not conveyed to us, is not conveyed to us as of today to people at large. People are not aware there are monofloral honeys. And I thought, okay, fine, there is a gap into the market. This fact which is there in front of me, there is a gap into the market, that people are not aware what is raw honey and what is processed honey and the difference between it. So I thought, why not to create a business model around it. And frankly speaking, I'm proud of at least I'm proud of starting Haniveda because of the social and environmental impact it gives into the agriculture and ecosystem as a whole. I mean, farmers are getting better yield because of the activities of Haniveda. So there are direct and indirect impact we are bringing into the system. And out of all this activity, we are getting an amazing product, a nutrient product to supply to consumer. So I think this is a really win-win situation as a business model. That's why I started Haniveda.
Okay, so that was a really inspiring journey. So, sir, as you said that it was a unique concept for most of the people, like today also, they don't know what is like honey beekeeping. So, initially, how did you started with your company, like marketing, funding? How did you manage all this?
So, I mean, as of now, Honeyveda is a completely bootstrapped. We have not raised any external funding as of now. I started understanding beekeeping first by surfing internet, definitely. What's happening outside India, what's happening inside India, how the industry has been working since long. But then I gradually started meeting people. So I think personally, I feel that's the best thing you can do in any domain or industry you are in. You have to meet the people who are having experience, and that can give you an insight into the factors that you may not imagine otherwise by sitting and surfing over internet. So that helped me. I also reached out to government and private agencies who are into giving training into beekeeping. So this is how I started. Uh, Frankly speaking, over earlier 2 years were my learning curve, and we had very less idea how much fund that we are going to require, what Honeyveda projectory is, and how much fund will be required for function of operational, how much fund will be required for operations of sales, and how much is required for marketing. uh, it it came out during my journey. I mean, as a founder, I still feel I'm evolving for all the parameters. Sometimes you behave as a marketing manager, sometimes you behave as a finance person, sometimes you behave as a HR person. So this is the most exciting part of being an entrepreneur, and this is why I am still attached to it. And uh, gradually I started taking some minor loan when I converted my idea into the concept. So Honeyveda branding requires some funding. We took it from bank, and some of the friends also helped me. They were very established in their job life, but they were very happy to know, okay, fine, Hardik is doing it, so let's just help him in initial capital. So I thank all those friends. They are still with me. So Honeyveda in a coming 2 years is going to invest heavily on capital portion of the business. We need infrastructure to make this supply chain more robust. And of course, gradually we will start working on increasing the traction of a brand. That is very much required. So yes, as of now, it is completely bootstrapped. I invested each rupee of my savings from my salary into this business. So this is how we are funded as of now.
Okay, all right, sir. So, sir, another question is how you hunt for the talent for the company. It's a really unique talent. Like generally, you have to train employee for this. So, how do you manage, and what are your strategies for hiring employees as an employer?
Yeah, so I mean, many activities are once you sit and you think about it and you realize, okay, fine, there are 10 activities needs to be done, right from marketing to finance to banking to operations to dispatch, logistics, packaging, everything. And you started realize, okay, fine, when you scale up, you also need team to do it. You cannot do everything on your own. So this is my first realization came into 2018, and I started looking for people who can join me. Definitely, as a startup, you always find a unique way to engage a person into your company. Like there are many creative models that we used to have in 2018, that okay, fine, you joined the company, as of now we cannot provide you salary, but we will give you this task if you prove yourself. And once the revenue start coming in, we can share it with you over a period of time. But then over a period of time, you also realize, okay, fine, you are a private limited company. There is terminology like equity, stakes, and everything, and you cannot give stakes to everyone. This is the harsh reality. So then I started looking for the people who may not have a degree or a certificate for the task that I'm looking for, but out of the interest area. I mean, this is very unique thing that I realized lastly, that a person who is having a personal interest over a particular domain or the function of a company can actually excel at that task, rather than a person who has just got this certificate or a degree out of the some university, and then you just let him do that task. So then I started looking, fine, okay, fine, this is an agriculture activity, let's find out a person who is having interest in agriculture or forest for that matter. Then I spread this word within my group, within my friends and everything. And then I started looking, getting the applications. I took the interview. I also took that person to the farm, to the forest, and practically presented him what is required. And then I realized, okay, fine, if that person has interest, personal interest rather than the certification, then we keep him, because only that can motivate a person to stay in a startup for a longer period of time. Frankly speaking, an ex-person would not join a startup. Rather, he joins any established group or companies for the security reasons. Someone might think, okay, fine, he's giving me task today, but who knows, his startup will survive 2 years or 3 years. But any person who is having a personal interest will always be attached to that concept, will always be attached to the activity or the roles and responsibilities doing. And the motivation at that point is completely different. So this is how we started looking for people. Even today, we are following this model. Of course, if we grow 4 to 5 times in coming 2 to 3 years, we might require people who have certificate for it. But as of today, the team which we have right now are actually the people who are having a personal interest for whatever they are doing.
Obviously, so personal interest definitely work more than any degree. So second last question that I would like to ask you, that I always ask to any elderly I meet, is that most of the youngster today deal with stress, anxiety and frustration that ultimately leads to like demotivating themselves. So I definitely think that you also deal with such time, like there might be time, a sort of time that you get demotivated. So how do you deal with such situations?
How do I deal with it? Actually, I remember the time when I decided what Honeyveda should be. So back in 2015, I came to know about the beekeeping concept. By 2017, I realized, okay, fine, this is not just hardcore business. This is also a social venture, because it helps farmers, ecosystem, agriculture, and everything. And in 2018, I realized, okay, fine, there is a gap into the market, and Honeyveda can penetrate that market and be a mainstream brand for it. So yes, even today, maybe funding, maybe operational cost, some staff gives you stress, you fail some deadlines and everything, you get into stress. This is a continuous process. But then you sit and you think about why you started all this. And each time I go back to the very basic reason why Honeyveda has been started, the very basic concept, and then it again gives me a certain kind of energy to start again, to stand on my feet again, and I keep going on. So I guess as long as your objectives are very clear, your objectives do not need to be 2 3 4 pages long, but it has to be one para or 2 to 3 lines. I mean, in our startup community, there is a saying that if a founder, if a entrepreneur can tell you his business idea in just 2 to 3 sentences, then that entrepreneur is considered to be a very thorough person, and he knows what he's doing, rather than an entrepreneur who keeps going on, is what I'm doing right now, to to explain your business model in very elaborated way. You do not require that. You always go back and think about the very basic objective, why you are doing what you are doing right now. And if that objective is very thorough, very clear, you are very confident about it, then I guess that objective, that authenticity will always get you back into the track. So this is how I deal with it.
Thank you, sir. That will definitely help me in keeping myself up. One last question I would like to ask you, that what is the one piece of advice you would give to any MBA graduate who want to kickstart their career?
Okay. So, okay. I mean, you asked the question, what do an MBA graduate keep in mind? But I think let's not keep it for MBA graduate. I mean, let's keep it for any graduate for that matter. I think the advice I would give is that give a lot of time on yourself. You should have substance with you. By saying substance, I mean it is not. It will not help you to have many degrees or certificates with you. Okay, if I have done that course, I have done this course and everything. Rather, I would give pressure on practical experience. It is okay if you change your domain 1 year, 2 year down the line, but you should explore all the opportunities in front of you. I mean, it's okay if you are not aware that I like digital marketing or I like sales or I like that or whatever, but you give it a try. And you do not need your MBA degree to complete or your last academic year to complete to do that. You can keep exploring these options even while your academic sessions, if the time allows you. So I think practical exposure helps you not just academically, but personally also, because more you try, more you fail, and the failure rate is higher, then you become refined by each failure. Uh, Over a period of time, once a person lose his age, then sometimes it becomes frustrating. But when you have early age with you, I mean you are very young, then I think it's an amazing world out there. You just keep trying different activities rather than focusing on good marks. You should get good marks. Professor would not agree with me, but I would say that you should have a real market, real in-person experience. I mean, while you go out of a job, you do not just learn new skills in terms of domain. You also learn the skills of dealing with people. So interpersonal skills cannot be developed without practical exposure. So I would say give focus on practical exposure as much as you can give. So this is my advice to everyone.
Thank you very much, sir. That will definitely help us. Over to you, ma'am.
Sir, I want to thank you. I, on behalf of LGIMS and LGU, extend a very hearty thank you to Mr. Joshi for gracing our event with your presence and sharing with us valuable lessons. I'm sure it's a great learning opportunities for all the LGMBA students. Thank you, sir. That is all from our side. Thank you all for watching.